Want me to stop? Okay. Special call meeting, February 16th, 2021, via video teleconference. At this time, I would ask the city clerk, Beth Davis, to please call the roll. Unmute
Mr.
yourself.
Jeff Sanford,
Here.
Commissioner Mark Caslen,
Here.
Mayor Tom Watson, Mayor Pro Tem Larry Magliner,
Here.
Commissioner Bob Glenn.
Here.
I don't think I can hear you, Beth.
You couldn't hear me?
Is everybody else here?
I can hear.
Yes.
Mayor.
Here? Okay.
Can
Hey,
you hear me,
Adrian.
Mayor?
I can't hear anybody on the thing. This is, talk to me, Beth.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, we can hear you.
Why is this? Okay, I'm gonna start all over since I screwed that up. Welcome to the Board of Commissioners special meeting. We'll call to order now by Mayor Tom Watson. Roll call, City Clerk Beth Davis, please.
Commissioner Jeff Sanford,
Here.
Commissioner Mark Caslen,
Here.
Mayor Tom Watson,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Larry Magliner,
Here.
Commissioner Bob Glenn.
Here.
Thank you. Item 3, invocation and pledge, Commissioner Glenn.
Bow with me in prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, we want to thank you for the many blessings you provide, and in particular, the great fortune we have to live in Owensboro, Kentucky, a shining city on the Ohio River. Lord, we'd ask blessings because freedom isn't free on our military personnel here and across the globe to protect us, people. Want to ask special blessings on all of our city personnel in the midst of the storm and all the inclement weather we're experiencing, our firefighters, police officers, 911 personnel, the people operating snow plows, our sanitation workers, and our CDL and bus drivers. Lord, protect them and keep them safe. And finally, Lord, as we come together tonight to make decisions that affect the future of our city, please give us guidance and inspiration to make wise and thoughtful decisions that move our city forward, that move this beautiful, shining city on a river, the Ohio River, Owensboro, Kentucky. We thank you again, Lord. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
And now the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, and thanks to the IT guys for getting that put on the flag. That's great. Item 4A is retirement recognitions. The Street Department, Kenneth L. Morris, retirement 12/31/20. Kenneth was a maintenance equipment operator with the Street Department, retired from the city on December the 31st, 2020, after 8 years of service. And then Bruce Mitchell was a refuge truck driver with the Sanitation Department, retired from the city on January the 31st, 2021, after 21 years of service. We'd like to salute these two folks and thank them for their service. Okay, item 5A, I'd like to consider the approval of the minutes dated February the 2nd, 2021. I'll make a motion to approve. Could I have a second, please?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item 5B is the board appointments. We'll do 5B1. Please consider these board appointments. Property maintenance, Code Enforcement Board, I'd like to appoint Jay Bellotta to fill the remainder of an unexpired term, which ends January the 5th, 2023. And Seven Hills Neighborhood Alliance, appoint Melinda Schroenwald to a 2-year term effective February the 16th, 2021. I'll make a motion to approve these. Could I have a second, please?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item 5B2, I wanted to single this out because we're kind of restructuring this board since we have a new director, Ms. Barnhart. So the Senior Community Center of Owensboro in Davis County. I'd like to reappoint former City Commissioner and Mayor Pro Tem Pamela Smith Wright to a 3-year term effective March the 2nd, 2021. Reappoint Representative DJ Johnson to fill the remainder of an unexpired term, which ends August the 17th, 2022. Appoint Brad Youngman, Nathan Gadecki, and Tina Wright to a 3-year term effective February the 16th, 2021. Would somebody please make a motion to approve this?
Motion.
Could I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Okay, hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. There are no second ordinances. And ordinance item 7 is the first ordinance. Item 7A, we ask Ms. Davis to please read the ordinance.
Ordinance 4-2021, an ordinance closing a portion of 2 right-of-ways, an alley right-of-way located between 713 and 719 Faust Avenue, and 710 and 718 Gratian Street, and a street right-of-way located between 710 and 718 Gratian Street and 1620 West 7th Street in the city of Owensboro, Kentucky, at the request of Local Property Holdings, LLC, introduced and publicly read this 16th day of February, 2021.
Thank you. City Manager, could you update us on this, please?
Yes, Mayor, be happy to. This is first reading of an ordinance closing a portion of 2 rights-of-way. One is a portion of an unpaved alley off of West 7th Street between Gratian Street and Faust Avenue, and the other is a portion of Gratian Street itself. Both the alley and Gratian Street dead end into the railroad, so there is no negative impact from a transportation perspective. All contiguous property owners have consented to the closings, and a utility easement will be retained for Atmos and RWRA to retain their infrastructure. Mayor, I do have this on a map. I'll show you. Maybe easier for everyone to understand. So if you bear with me here for just a second.
Sure.
Is everyone seeing the map?
We are now.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so the area that I'm hovering over here is Faust Elementary School. To the west of that is Faust Avenue. And you can see West 7th that I'm running cursor along now. The Gratian Street is a small street that goes from West 7th and dead ends into the railroad tracks. It's just a walk along, and so a portion of that will be closed. And again, the alley to be referenced is actually an unpaved or a paper alley, as we call it. It exists on paper only. You can see this little area here where my cursor is over. You can see there's a separation between those 2 blue lines, and that's the alley that will be closed in portion. Again, it's unpaved at this point. So those are the parameters of the closure of the alley here, and then Gratian Street on the tip there up against the railroad tracks.
That's really helpful. Thanks, City Manager.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, no vote. So item 7B, please.
Ordinance 5-2021, an ordinance amending the annual budget for the fiscal year beginning July 1, 2020 and ending June 30, 2021, and amending ordinance 7-2020 to receive funds for sale of surplus property, appropriate funds for incentives, receive CARES Act funding, and provide for restaurant and bar grant funds, receive federal JAG grant funds and appropriate for purchase of rifles, receive state grant funds in transit and appropriate for capital equipment purchases, and update CDBG and home budget due to revised allocations from HUD. Introduced and publicly read the 16th day of February, 2021.
Thank you. City Manager, would you like to expound on this, please?
Yes, City Clerk did a good overview. This is first reading of various amendments to our current budget. The amendments include the following: the sale and rebate of the Big Rivers headquarters site, as the commission approved in our incentive agreement recently for that project. Revenue from the CARES Act that's previously been covered by the media that the city has received, and to appropriate the funds to provide for the restaurant and bar worker assistance program, the receipt and expenditure of grant funds for new rifles for the police department, and the receipt and expenditure of grant funds for transit, and also minor cleanup to correct actual amounts received for the community development fund.
Okay, thank you, City Manager. Okay, we'll move to item 8, municipal order. We will have a vote. City Clerk, please.
Municipal Order 7-2021, a municipal order authorizing the City of Owensboro to adopt the program for public information for the community rating system, introduced and publicly read for approval the 16th day of February, 2021.
Thank you. I'll make a motion to approve. Could I have a second, please?
Second.
City Manager, could you explain this to us, please?
I will introduce it. This municipal order is related to our community's participation in the National Flood Insurance Program. Emergency Management administers the program on our behalf, and EMA Planner Vicki Connor has joined the meeting and will present that to us.
Thank you. Vicki, it's all yours.
Okay, yes. Okay, thank you. Okay, Owensboro residents have been getting a 10% reduction in their flood insurance premiums due to a voluntary program associated with the National Flood Insurance Program called Community Rating System. We are wanting to improve our rating, so we are entering into a public information program along with some other activities that we have previously not participated in to try to improve our rating. Right now, we currently are at 8, so all residents in the community are getting a 10% reduction in their premiums. The public information program actually reaches out. We give the public information in different for different activities such as flood preparedness materials. We have drain marking projects, watershed education, and safety fairs, and all kinds of different outreach activities to inform the public on flood insurance and safety. Do you have any questions?
Any discussion from any of the commissioners?
I've got a question.
Yes.
Please.
Commissioner Sanford.
Yes, ma'am. How are we getting this out to the public? I'm in real estate and my full-time job. I just wanted to know, because I deal with this issue quite a bit. So they are, as of now, getting a 10% reduction. Is that like through FEMA, the FEMA insurance program, or which program?
Actually, you're getting the public is getting the 10% reduction by purchasing, when they purchase their flood insurance premium, it's already included in the premium. I wish that whenever they purchase the policy, that it would state that the resident is getting that 10% reduction at the time of the purchase, but it does not. Okay. It's just included in the premium itself.
Right. So basically what you're saying, it does not have a line item where it says 10%, 10% reduction. So does that include all the companies here in Owensboro that provide flood insurance?
Yes, it does. It includes, it's for any policy at all in the city.
Okay. Okay. All right. All right. Very good. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
Good question, Jeff. Anybody else?
Yes, I have a question.
Commissioner Caslin.
Thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome.
Is there any way that we can possibly get that increase to 15 or 20%, or is the 10% the maximum that's allowed?
No, actually, the city of Louisville is a 3, which, means that they're getting an 85% reduction. But they have a big department. I don't know if you've heard of the MSD, and they actually have full-time employees that are dedicated to this. I was just looking at the map of the policies, and in the state of Kentucky, right now, Louisville's 3. There are 3 other communities that are 7, and then Davis County and Owensboro are 8. But what we have done for this last inspection, which was in December of last year, is we had a committee. We met, worked very, very hard. I want to commend Hunter Reagan and Kevin Collian, Lance Morris, and others that were on the committee. And we are trying to get a further reduction. So we are really keeping our fingers crossed and hoping that perhaps we will get it reduced to a 6 or possible to a 7, possibly a 6 for the city of Owensboro. It may be a 7 for the county of Davis. We have some activities that are joint activities, but then the city has some that are separate from the county.
So the lower your number, like Louisville's, the bigger your discount.
That is correct. And we feel that we have worked as hard as we can work to try to get us to the lowest level. So right now we're in the waiting period. We have submitted all the documentation for the 14 activities that we participate in, and we are waiting to hear back to them to see what our score is.
Okay. Well, what does the 3 and the 8, what exactly do those mean? Is that just some kind of a gauge on the probability of flooding?
Oh, that's just a scoring number, actually, that they give you 500, like you get points for various activities. So 500 points is an area, you would go from a 10 to a 9 with 500 points. Then for 1,000 points, you would go down to an 8. 1,500 points, you would go to a 7, and then it continually decreases.
Okay.
And the different activities have different points. So it just depends on, how much you want to get into it. It's a huge project, and we have spent hours and hours and hours working on it. So we're very hopeful that we'll be able to further reduce those premiums.
Well, no matter who sells the premiums, aren't they dictated, the premiums amount basically dictated by the federal government as to what every insurance company can charge?
The premiums yes, FEMA does dictate those premiums, but we do get that reduction. But like I said, it is figured into the cost. I wish there were a separate line item so that the residents would actually know that they were getting that discount because of the hard work of the CRS committee. But there's not a separate line item for that.
Well, we appreciate your hard work, and 10% is a lot better than nothing. And
Well, thank you.
I had a
Any
question.
other discussion?
I had a
Yes.
question, Mayor.
Commissioner Glenn?
Thank you, sir. Yeah, on a practical level, your committee, when you were doing this work, and thank you for the work you're doing, there's always been a lot of complaints over behind Texas Gas in that area where people basically said they weren't having to pay flood insurance. And then about 5, 6, 7 years ago, all of a sudden they're having to pay flood insurance. In your research, Ms. Connor, did you come up with that major change where people weren't having to buy flood insurance and now they're mandated to? Did that come up as an issue?
Mr. Glenn, that is probably due to the flood insurance map changing.
Yes.
We are going to have some new maps in 23. I believe they'll be effective. So they
2020.
are working on the new maps currently. But anyone who is in the flood hazard area and they have a mortgage, they have to take out flood insurance. If their house is paid for, then they don't.
So the new maps may clarify who needs to. And second and last question, new housing developments, like, somebody builds a new subdivision within the bounds of the city or the county, do they go through you, or will this program you're initiating help them to plan better so they don't build in a flood zone?
Actually, they will be working with the Planning Commission, and Matt Warren is actually on our committee, and he does work with them and he does inform them, and they do work with him.
Okay. Thank you very much. Appreciate your efforts.
Okay, thank you.
Ms. Connell, this is Tom Watson. I didn't hear in the introduction how we can forward questions to you. Could you tell me where how we can do that, please?
Okay, I'm sorry. I missed the first part of that because I was trying to get it on Facebook Live there. My name is Vicki Connor, and I'm with Davis County Emergency Management. And you can catch us. We have a Facebook page. We also have a web page under Davis County Fiscal Court, and our phone number is 270-685-8448.
Well, thank you very much, Ms. Connor. We appreciate you being here tonight and some very good information, because it's always a concern in Owensboro, since we're so flat, how the floodplain affects everything we do. So thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, any other discussion, please? Okay, here, City Manager, you have anything else? I'm sorry. I thought you were saying something. You good? Okay.
Good, Mayor. Thank you.
Okay, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you again, Ms. Connor. We appreciate you being here. Okay, item 9, city manager items. 9A,
Mayor.
sir.
Yes, sir. Angela Waniger will present the December financial report.
Ms. Waniger,
Hi, Mayor.
how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I like you right there with me, because I know I'm going to be in good shape.
All right. Thank you. Well, I'm going to be presenting on the December financial statements. I'll pull up our PowerPoint presentation. All right, so our first slide represents revenues for the month of December 2020. Our actual revenues of $3,937,366 were lower than budgeted revenues of $4,048,852. The $111,486 variance is primarily due to a refund of estimated net profit payments and lower property taxes due to a transfer to the TIF fund. This is partially offset by higher occupational withholdings. The next slide is for the 6 months ended December 2020. Our actual total revenues of $36,941,482 were higher than budgeted revenues of $32,466,287. This gives us a positive variance of $4,475,195. This variance is primarily due to receipt of CARES funding and partially due to higher property tax revenue and occupational tax withholding, offset by lower other revenues, which are mostly due to timing. Slide 3 represents our December 2020 expenditures. We had expenditures of $4,415,134. which were higher than budgeted expenditures of $4,274,793 for a variance of $140,341. This variance is primarily due to savings in personnel services offset by timing and maintenance. Our fourth slide represents expenditures for fiscal year to date December. For the 6 months ended December, our actual expenditures of $28,237,180 were less than budgeted expenditures of $31,056,233 for a variance of $2,819,053. This variance is primarily due to savings in personnel services and timing in capital, supplies, and outside services. And our last slide shows our trending of revenues and expenditures by the month. The green bar represents our revenues. The red bar represents our expenses. As you can see, the city's monthly revenues and expenses are cyclical. By example, if you look at our graph, you can see the first month of our fiscal year, which is July, our revenues are higher than expenditures. Then in the next month, the expenditures outpace revenues. Then the next month, revenues once again exceed expenditures. This is the nature of finances here at the city. Expenses typically outpace revenues in the warmer months when street and grounds maintenance and parks are in full swing. Likewise, we have months that typically generate higher revenues than other months. For example, we'll see higher revenues in the months of October and December, which the graph depicts, due to collection of property taxes. You'll also see a peak or a spike in revenues in the months of April and October for collection of net profit taxes. Timing, due to a variety of reasons, can affect when monthly activity is reflected as well. And by that, I'm referring to, say by example, the net profits for the month of December. You know, we had negative net profits, and that was primarily due to a large refund, so that we typically don't have like that. Now, if anyone has any questions, I am happy to try and answer. I'd also like to add that outside of timing variances, the revenues and expenditures in our other funds are in line with the budget.
Thank you, Ms. Waniger. At this time, I'll make a motion to approve the file to report for audit. Could I have a second, please?
Second.
Anybody like to have any further discussion on this matter?
No.
Ms. Waniger, can you say we're doing good?
We're doing well, Mayor. Thank
Okay.
you.
Well, excuse me.
We're doing good.
All right. Okay, no more further discussion. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Thank you again. Great job.
You're welcome, Mayor. Thank you.
Item 9B, consider these personnel appointments. Mr. Pagan.
Thank you, Mayor. Tonight for your consideration, we have Jeffrey Kelly, probationary, full-time, non-civil service appointment to Safety Loss Prevention Manager with the Personnel Department effective March 1st. Norman Lane, probationary, full-time, non-civil service appointment to telecommunicator with the Police Department effective March 1st. James Green, probationary, full-time, non-civil service promotional appointment to lieutenant with the Police Department effective February 28th. Travis Blinko, regular, full-time, non-civil service appointment to road worker with the Street Department effective February 17th. Bradley Knapp, regular, full-time, non-civil service appointment to application supervisor with the IT Department effective February 17th. And Jacob Trogan, regular, full-time, non-civil service appointment to maintenance equipment operator with the Street Department effective February 17th.
I make a motion to approve. Could I have a second, please?
Second.
Discussion, please. City Manager, are these new hires or?
Mayor, it's a
the
couple of
only-
new hires, I
New
believe.
hire?
Yeah, it looks like we have 2 new hires, 1 promotion, and 3 transitioning from provisional to regular status.
Okay, thank you. Any other discussion?
Had a quick question.
Commissioner Glenn has a quick question. Okay, you got 6 seconds.
All right, that'll work. What's a safety loss prevention manager?
Good.
What do they do?
It's a position that we've had in the past. It's one part, and you should think of kind of traditional industrial safety, OSHA, and those type of requirements. And they do a lot of loss prevention. They're involved with our insurance review. We review claims both liability policy, but also health insurance claims, just to make sure we're doing everything we can and should be doing.
Okay, thought it might be a finance auditing position. Okay, that makes
We've had the
sense.
position for a
OSHA
while.
related.
The incumbent actually was retiring, so this is a new person who will replace their retiree that'll be on the list in a month or two.
Great. Thank you.
Okay, no further discussion. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Thank you. City Manager, do you have any other further comments?
I do not, Mayor. No other comments tonight. Thank you.
You're welcome. Communication from elected officials. Commissioner Caslen.
I've had, can you hear me?
Yes.
As far as the flooding issue, I have met with a couple of our engineers to address a flooding issue between Biddle Road and Griffith Avenue on one of my neighbor's houses getting flooded repeatedly. They have informed me that really not a whole lot that they can do, but at the same time, they're going to try to look into the Griffith Avenue area that is flooding to see what they can possibly do in the future. And that's pretty much the only thing I've had come up.
Thank you, Commissioner Caslen. Commissioner Sanford.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a few comments here. First of all, I want to give my appreciation to the street department for the great work they've done during this ice and snow. I have a lot of positive comments that they're doing a great job, and hats off to those guys. They work hard and they're doing a wonderful job for the city. So I also wanted to mention them. Number two, thinking back to last term, I think we talked to a young man about some scooters. We've met with him and making a little progress to see if he's still going to do that. And just wanted to mention that real quick. Commissioner Maglier and I have been working on this Northwest revitalization. It looks like we're getting closer to getting this thing done. It looks like sometime in April, we might be able to roll something out. And a lot of compliments also. I just want to mention real quick, everybody did a wonderful job on the restaurant relief fund. It's fantastic. And I think it's hear a lot of positive feedback on that, and I'm so glad everybody was on board and something we could do to help those guys in our community because they're such a big part of it. And that's about it.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Glenn.
Yes, Mayor, just a couple of things. So I noted that Karen Feldhaus is a longtime faculty member at Davis County High School, won the Regional Speech and Debate Coach of the Year award. That's a big deal. I'm in education, and I wanted to congratulate her. I know Karen, she's been around a long time. She's also a theater person there and does great work. Second is DJ Johnson is working in the legislature as we speak to get the veterans facilities tax bill passed. I know, talking as a commissioner in past terms, that's been a big issue to try and keep their facility downtown. So I hope he's successful in doing that. And I'm heartened to see he's involved in that, working on getting a bill passed. And then finally, I want to just thank all of our city budget staff for the work you've done on the reports and all. Angela, your team did great work. And then also, of course, to our public works department and keeping our streets clear of the snow.
Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Mayor. I want to also thank the Public Works Department and all their, 24-hour work around the clock to get the streets where we can use them. And and it's cold, and it's got to be a tough job. And I also want to thank our OMU and Kenergy workers that gets our power back on when it goes out. And so thank you for that. And that's all I got, Mayor. Thanks.
Thank you. I have a few comments, if you'll bear with me. I'm one of the many meetings that I do each week. I met with Jamie Johnson. She's the business coach for the SBDC of Kentucky, which is housed at the Economic Development Corp. And she offers a tremendous service to our community. And I'm just going to kind of click off these things that she can do to help businesses get started. She can help with business registration and setting up business and tax accounts. She can assist with business planning. She can help with securing business funds, preparation of budgets and financial forecasts, market research, market planning, including help building websites and social media presence, strategic planning, and training from market professionals and qualified SBDC advisors. This is a tremendous asset we have at the Economic Development Building, and I encourage everyone to take advantage of this, because in an entrepreneurial setting, a lot of these things are very informational for when someone's trying to get going and start a business. So it's Jamie Johnson, business coach, jamie.johnson@uky.edu, and our number is 270-574-9990. It's an excellent resource that I wish more people would take advantage of. Next, I'd like to, during this month of Black History Month, I want to just make a few comments about one of my favorite civil rights leaders, Rosa Parks. She had more courage, I think, than any male that ever participated in the Civil Rights March. Rosa Parks boarded a bus in Montgomery, for those of you that don't know. Instead of going to the back of the bus, which was designated for African Americans, she sat in the front. And then when the bus started to fill up with white passengers, the bus driver asked Ms. Parks to move. She refused. Her resistance set in motion one of the largest social movements in history, the Montgomery bus boycott. And she later stated, when someone asked her, why didn't she move like the rest of the African American people did when they were asked to move? And she said that she just got off working 18 hours. She was tired, and she wasn't about to get up, which to me, in that time, is just tremendous courage. And, you know, her quote is, people always say that I didn't give up my seat because I was tired, but that isn't true. I was not tired physically, or more tired than I usually was at the end of a working day. I was not old, although some people have an image of me being old. I was only 42. No, the only tired I was tired of giving in. So tremendous accolades to Rosa Parks, and she actually has a statue in the Capitol, in the monumental area there. And it's kind of neat. The bus that she was on ended up being in Michigan, where she ended up working for a congressman and retired from the federal government after quite a few years. And she died at 92 of natural causes, but she was a true leader in the African American community during the civil rights movement. And I just want to always give credit where credit is due, and she deserves a lot of credit. That's all I have tonight. Any other comments? If not, I'll make a motion to adjourn. Any second, please?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you all for attending. God bless.